I'm goosed. Morning folks, it's Monday the 23rd of March. I just want to give you another update. We've been busy here I have been busy here this morning. I suppose there's a couple of things that I want to talk about. First of all being the Indiegogo campaign. So the campaign has less than 10 days to run. Yes, we're at 4% of the campaign. That really doesn't matter. The business plan was always in place to run without the Indiegogo campaign. The campaign's just a fast forward button. If we'd have reached the 70 odd thousand, then that would have been perfect. We could just flood the place with contractors, make life a lot easier. But without it doesn't make any odds. We're still going ahead. There'll be some slight changes to plan, whereas we'll open up to about a midway point with our between 6 and 8 tracks. And we'll leave the second half of the forest until perhaps next winter. We've got plenty of space around here to build in. So keeping in mind that obviously we're only a week left, if you've donated for the GNAR Wall of Fame, then first of all thank you very much, and secondly, if you haven't sent in your selfie yet, if you could send that over to gnarwalloffame@gmail.com, that would be perfect, and we can get those gathered in so that we can put that together. If you haven't donated and you're considering it, I should probably state at this point, so in order to keep it fair on the people that have donated to get on there to win those prizes for the next 20 years, this is it. This is the only time that's going to be open, the only opportunity that anybody's going to have to get on there. Those are our people who donated right at the start to help fund this place and bring it to life. Therefore they're held in high regard, and there isn't going to be a secondary opportunity somewhere down the line to be able to join in on that. The other part that I wanted to talk to you about was obviously we're in a big larch forest here, which means that every time that we cut something, we end up with some building material. So I suppose that has an effect on the trails, and I just wanted to show you what kind of effect that has. So for example, this is one run that begins at the top, up at these cross sticks here. Don't know if we've got close enough yet for that to show, but so some cross sticks. So we're relatively open at the top. The top's going to be it's wider and got a little bit more pedalling in. Obviously made for those bigger trail bikes or downhill bikes that don't mind a little bit of a pedal at the start. But we're going to put some whoops in here. We're going to make this challenging, and quite frankly the idea is with the whoops, personally, I mean other people may choose to do other things, but personally I'd like to learn to manual my way through the loops. Things like this where we've got tufts and there's going to be an old tree stump underneath there. I'm not sanitising these trails. We've got roots that are going to be exposed that are going to be great, because that is an inside line that people are going to want to take, so that's going to need to be negotiated. So as we cut, it's probably important to note that, I mean, one thing that should be fairly obvious, but I've only just recently got excited about it this morning, is every time you cut something you end up with building material, which is brilliant. Obviously I knew it was going to happen, but it's a different thing seeing it on the ground. And the fact that there it is, you can build with it. Stumps, I ain't removing those. We're not sanitising these trails. This is not a trail centre. We're not packing it in gravel. It is going to be exposed and hard dirt. So obviously we've got some more building material here. This section is this leaves a couple of options. Where I've marked with some pegs, I'm going to put a berm into that side, so you can either come down from through here, take the berm option. Now the idea is to get the berm probably to about waist height, therefore allowing you to run it brakeless if you want to. Now that's a good option for speed, but obviously it's a slightly longer route than negotiating these routes and heading straight through in between these two trees. So that's two choices there. Depends how you set yourself up on the line, and it depends what you want to do with it. As I say again, it's just really nice to get some building material on the ground. I'm going to be able to use that later. Again, things like this, it's cut off at the bottom but it sure as hell isn't getting pulled out, because I'm not sanitising these. It's not what this place is about. It's about learning to negotiate that kind of thing. So we bring you through into this section. Now, hopefully you've built some speed up at the top, and you've had an opportunity to have a wide, it's only a short wide section, but it's nice and wide right at the start, get you warmed up and get you into it. So this area here is an old, I'll climb you onto it, I hope it shows, but this area is an old forestry road, like a really old one. In fact, you can see how old it is, some of the trees have grown in. Now this is coming up for there's a perfect opportunity for a road gap here. So speaking of building material, when we're making choices on that, we've got things like, I'll take this opportunity as well just to once again say a big thank you to Adam at Eden Treescapes. Just spending a morning with him and just getting some of his knowledge is frankly brilliant. It's really helpful to somebody like me who's, you know, I'm in this on my own, and the more people can help out with sharing knowledge, the better. But for example, this is one to spot. So see how it's lifted its roots at the bottom here, and it's now leaned over badly. It's not got any more chance of growing, therefore it's going to come down. But yet again, you just make more building material to build up here for the takeoff for the road gap. Now it's not a long road gap by any means, so it's not something that you're going to need to, it's not a giant hook or anything like that. And then obviously, when I say we don't want to sanitise the place, also we want to make it rideable. So these old stumps here, in this area we've got here, we're going to pull those out and pull them to one side, because frankly we do want a bit of a landing area. Some of it is about building confidence as well. But we come stark contrast to our wide open area with whoops and things put in. Then it brings us into this, and the area of trail is going to take us down there. And I don't know if anybody will remember, but we come into an opening area, and I did a sketch up, like a slight sort of design drawing, so to speak. It was a bit poor, but it did show sort of. And there's a big kicker at the bottom that drops you away, but you need to negotiate all this narrow stuff first, which again is going to be left very much as it is. I don't really want to take any of these trees out. We'll trim up the old branches at the bottom that aren't getting any sunlight, so that we can weave through them, and we'll weave a path through there. Probably tape this area from, so let's just get you back a little bit. So from between 1 and 2 trees, that's your entrance into it after you've come down the landing for the small road gap. And then we'll start to tape from these trees downwards. You're going to have to fight your way through here, and then when you get to the bottom there, then if I hold you up a bit, you might be able to see that it begins to slope again as we get away. It gets a bit steeper, and opens out for that second part. So, as I say, the idea isn't to sanitise this place. The idea isn't to put down hardcore and pack it in everywhere, therefore making kind of what resembles the trail centre trails. This is going to be kept quite natural, and I just want it to be a challenge, and it's important that we have an opportunity to challenge ourselves. What was the other thing I was going to talk about? Oh, Sunday. It's Monday now, so in just under a week's time, if anybody's heading up to the Northern Downhill race at Kielder, I'm going to be turning up myself. I'm going to be riding a bit of a retro style bike on I believe it's a black, I'm not really sure. I'll have to have a double check on that. I might have got that wrong. I'll have to check. Anyway, I think it might be a black trail. So that should be a bit of a challenge for a retro bike, just as long as it doesn't fall to pieces. But that's by the by. If you spot me there, if you've got any questions, or I just want to have a general chit chat, because frankly, I'm going up just to hang out with bikers for the day. It's going to be it's a bit of a selfish. Well, not I say selfish. Everyone's got to have a day off once in a while, but it's a day off. It's going to be just a fun time for me, and you know, I'd like to meet you and like to have a chat. But hopefully this gives you a bit of an idea about the stage that we're at now. Obviously, there's going to be some changes to the plan with the idea that we'll build halfway along and concentrate on this half. We've already, to be honest, knew this was coming, so that's why the corridors that you'll have seen me walk you down in the past, they're all cut on this side of the trail. That way, we're already prepared, so to speak. And I keep saying the word we. We're already prepared. We're doing this. I don't know why that is. I've got a lot of support at home from my wife, and she's brilliant. So perhaps that's why I say we a lot. It's generally just me. Obviously, we get Adam and people in to help out sometimes. I'm waffling now. I'm a bit tired, to be honest with you. Hats off to you, Adam. It's hard work, this forestry stuff. So, as I say, quick recap. Indiegogo finishes quite soon. If you want on that wall of fame, then this is the opportunity. That it doesn't. If you don't wish to, it doesn't really make any odds. But if you do, then this is the chance to do it, because I'm not going to run it again, and I'm not going to open that opportunity up again, because I just don't feel it's fair on the people who have already donated and already put into that. So those are the people who are going to get reap the rewards of it, because frankly it reads as 4%, and a lot of people will look, well, that's just not enough. I read it as 3.5 grand, and that is putting straight into the contractors and saying, guys, put it towards, if that 3.5 grand speeds up or allows you more men for 4 or 5 more days, then perfect, because that just gets the access road built faster. So to me, it's an absolute win, 4% or not. So guys, thanks very much for persevering with me waffling up in the woods by myself like a flaming lunatic, and I hope to see you on Sunday. If you're about, it'll be cool. Be nice to have a bit of crack. Thank you very much, and I'll keep you updated. So as a kind of add-on to what I've just said, I suppose, what is it? 11:15 now. I've got the rest of the day to choose whether I leave this in or whether I edit it out. To keep the openness about it, a lot of you guys that have seen the Indiegogo campaign will have seen that there's an opportunity for the industry to advertise with GNAR Bike Park. There's a 1,500 quid perk on there, and that's there. And you've probably also seen, because it shows up on my page when I do it, that I've put that out to the industry a little bit recently, a lot recently, to be honest. That may lead to some confusion as to whether this whole project is reliant on industry involvement and reliant on that money. What I should explain is that it would have been back in November of last year when I made that. If I hadn't have made that phone call to the bank and said, look, do you know what, I don't want to do it, I don't want to take you up on your offer, I'm not comfortable with the idea, no thanks. If I hadn't have done that, and we'd have continued on down the line that I'd originally thought of, that would have meant an extra 480 quid a month to pay back to the bank for the next 7 years. Now that money would have to have been found from somewhere. I don't want to make it come out from you guys. So then yes, really, industry advertising, I would have been reliant upon that extra side of revenue, at least for 7 years. The way that things are at the moment is it does absolutely no harm at all to offer it out to the industry if they're interested, if they want to get involved. Because if you think that a man with a 16-ton digger on a day rate is roughly between 200 and 250 quid, that's what I've been quoted anyway. You knock those into 1,500 and it's an extra few days with a digger, so it would have been helpful. However, it's no deal breaker. This, as in GNAR Bike Park, is not reliant upon any involvement from the industry. it just didn't do any harm to ask. So obviously that one you can see on there that the industry aren't interested. They haven't taken it up. I've sent all those things out, inviting them in. We've had no comeback on it. Does it matter? No, it doesn't, frankly. So I just want people to hopefully to be able to feel confident about the project. It makes no odds as to whether you've put into the project or not. This is more about the fact that is this going ahead? Is it happening? Of course it is. It's happening right now. This place only needs to make wages for us all. Doesn't need to be making huge profits like the past industry that I've been involved with. Just needs to make wages. So having that extra 480 quid a month to pay back to the bank, I felt it was unnecessary, and it wasn't a deal breaker taking that money from the bank to get the project up and running. So decided to push the limits a bit more and challenge ourselves and do it without the bank. And frankly, it's paying off. So I suppose I just wanted to clear up because it's there. And you've seen that I've put the offer out to the industry, and you've seen that it's there as a perk. And obviously, then seeing that nobody's taking it up, it's completely understandable that it might make you think, well, hang on a second, if he doesn't sell those, does that mean that it's not going to open? And I want to ride there, so it's a bit of a bummer if it turns out it doesn't open. I suppose to anybody who might be thinking that, just to set your mind at ease, no, it makes no difference. It would be nice to have some support from the MTB industry, but frankly, it just doesn't matter. I'm not doing this for them. This isn't I didn't set this project off to please them. I did it for me, and did it for the fact that I'm just not happy with what we've got to ride, and I think we all deserve something a bit more. So yeah, I don't even know if I'm going to leave this part in. I may just cut it out, but part of me feels that I want to be open with you, and I want to let you know what's happening. Those things are out there. They're on the Indiegogo page, so you can see them. Makes sense to explain what's going on. Maybe to my detriment, but wearing your heart on your sleeve and all that. Anyway, onwards and upwards.